And we are back. Good to have you along on a great Friday here. We're going to head now to Atlanta, Georgia, because the trial of Jeffrey Williams, also known as the rapper Young Thug, it is back. They are at it. He and his co-defendants are charged with a number of crimes. Allegedly, the rapper brand name, which is YSL, stands for Young Slime Life. And prosecutors say they're responsible for a vast amount of criminal activity in the area. These criminal activities include conspiracy of murder, robberies, assaults, drug dealing, and much more. However, the defense argues that really YSL is just a record label and stands for Young Stoner Life. Now, YSL co-founder Walter Murphy back on the stand today. Let's listen to more of his testimony out of Atlanta. This is the direct examination.
I want to briefly go back to some of your tattoos. I'm sorry, some of your tattoos. Now, yesterday, did you say to me that the reason why you had YSL tattooed on your face was because of using the ones in your record?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, yes. Do you have red cartel on your face?
Do I have red cartel on my face? No.
Why not?
I don't think I had a lot of tattoos back then. I had money to get tattoos back then.
Sorry?
Or had money to get tattoos back then.
But you were able to get that DK as one of your original tattoos?
Yeah.
We just ask Mr. Murphy to maybe break the microphone. It's a little hard to understand.
We also talked about the Haiti tattoo on your face. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Where are the names of your 4 children tattooed on your body?
I got all their names. I know both of my daughters on my neck, behind my ears, right?
Why are they on your face?
Why they on my neck?
Why are they on your face?
Why aren't they on my face?
Yes.
I ain't want no more tattoos on my face.
Okay. Why didn't you put your daughter's name on your face as prominently as you put Mr. Williams' daughter on your face?
His daughter's older than my daughter. His daughter was already born before my daughter.
And why was it significant to tattoo his daughter's name on your face?
I look the hell like my daughter, or like my niece.
Now, yesterday, before we left, we talked about a few of your interviews from 2015 and 2016. Do you recall that?
Yes.
All right. So I want to ask you some additional questions. When were you arrested on these charges involving the shooting on April 12, 2016?
I don't really remember when I was arrested. I know I got locked up though.
Okay.
It was in 2015.
Do you remember being in July 2015?
That might be accurate. I think so.
Where were you when you were arrested?
At Mr. Williams' house, at Legit house.
And at Mr. Williams' house, was his father present?
I can't remember. It was a lot of people there, but I'm pretty sure he was there though.
And when you were arrested, were you then taken to Atlanta Police Department headquarters?
Yeah.
And during that being taken to Atlanta Police Department headquarters, were you interviewed by an investigator Gaither and another male investigator? Do you remember that?
I remember talking to somebody. I don't remember who it was though.
Prior to that interview at the Atlanta Police Department, had you ever worked with police officers prior to that date?
What do you mean?
Have you ever worked with or assisted law enforcement prior to July of 2015 when you were arrested?
I don't recall.
Do you recall in that interview telling the investigator that you had worked with police prior to July of 2015?
No, I don't remember saying that.
Back in July of 2015, during that interview, were you concerned that Mr. Williams' father saw you talking to police while at Mr. Williams' home?
I don't even remember talking to the police. They just threw me on the ground, slapped me in cuffs.
Not whether or not you talked to police, were you concerned that Mr. Williams Sr. saw you communicating with police?
When I got locked up, like on the scene? That's what you asked?
Yes, sir.
No, because if I was, I don't think I asked them what I'm getting locked up for. Only thing I asked was like what I'm being arrested for. At that point, I didn't know what I was being arrested for.
Let me ask the question again. Were you concerned? It was not responsive to the question.
You guys it already out. So let's move on.
In July of 2015, did you have a reputation and a background for being considered Mr. Williams' brother?
Brother, friend.
Yesterday, you said that during these interviews that you had, you would, I believe the term you said was, you would cut off your arm to get back to your son and your child's mother. Do you remember saying that yesterday?
Yes.
Do you recall during all of these interviews that you were asked to be completely truthful about whatever it is that happened back in April of 2015?
I don't recall, saying it, but that sounds like something the police would say, though.
When you first met with Investigator Gaither in July 2015, were you initially honest with her about where you were in your role in the April 12, 2015 shooting?
That's the gas station?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Initially, you were honest with her?
I think so, yeah. I can't really remember, but yeah.
Do you recall in that interview telling her initially that you pulled up in a black Chrysler vehicle?
That I pulled up in, I don't remember me driving.
Okay. Did you pull up in a black Chrysler vehicle back in July 2015?
I can't remember. I was been in a lot of cars.
Do you remember what car you drove to the Citgo gas station on?
I think it was a white car.
So if you told her initially that it was a black vehicle, would that have been not true?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember telling her that initially you were with OG Bentley when you were at the gas station?
No, I don't remember saying that.
And that wasn't true?
No.
Did Investigator Gaither then confront you and tell you what you're telling her is not true? Do you remember her saying?
Yeah, I remember her saying that, and then she showed me the video, yeah. I remember that.
And was it at that point that you realized what you were saying wasn't true and she knew that?
Yes.
Do you remember being surprised when she told you that someone got shot on April 12, 2015?
Yes, I remember that. I ain't even never knew nobody got shot. That's why when they was like, you getting locked up for attempted murder, I'm like, what?
Okay. In July of 2015, while you were at Mr. Williams' home before being arrested, or while you were being arrested, were you concerned that an officer who knew you put his mask on his face?
Can you ask that again?
Sure. Back in July 2015, when you were at Mr. Williams' home, were you concerned that an officer approached you, but when he approached you, he put his mask on his face? And did you have some concern about that?
I don't know. I don't remember saying it though.
Say that one.
I don't remember saying it, but I could have.
Okay, guys, a lot of I don't remember going on here, but just so folks know, DK, that's Walter Murphy, you can call him DK, he got a deal, served 1 year on a RICO violation and 9 years probation. So Brian Buckmeyer, he's technically a helpful witness, but is he really a cooperating witness to the degree that he is very helpful?
I'm not sure how helpful he is. I mean, if I'm directing this witness, what I would do is either try to contrast the fact that there's a lot that he clearly remembers about these incidences and there's a lot that he clearly does not. And if you can put those side by side and say, hey, he can tell us what car he was driving that day, what car seat he was in, but he can't tell us if he did or didn't have a gun. Okay, that's weird. He could tell us this and he can tell us that, but he can't tell this. And if you could paint the picture to the jury that he clearly has selective memory because he's trying to lie, then great. But if you're just going to kind of stumble around his I don't knows, those are a long time ago, for me, it paints the picture of either you as a prosecutor don't know what you want out of this witness or can't get it, or maybe he's being evasive. And if I'm kind of stuck between the two, I don't know if it's a good place for the prosecutor.
Yeah, this is tricky too, Catherine, because here's the guy who takes a plea deal. Part of that deal is to testify truthfully. How hard can you push him? What kind of leverage do you have on the guy? He's out now. How does that work?
We need to know more about his plea deal, whether or not, if he does not testify truthfully at this trial, what happens next? Do they put him back in jail and he has to serve a longer sentence because he broke that plea agreement? And one thing that I found interesting too with his testimony is that he said that he would cut off his arm to get back to his son and the mother of his son when he was being interviewed by the police in 2015. Around that time was when his son was born, so he wanted to get back to his son. So the question is, was he being truthful at the time to the police during the interview that he can actually provide information to them, or was he just saying those things so he could go back to his son after a 1-year sentence? And now we see him here being confused and can't recall.
Yep, it is tricky. You're hoping these guys pay off for you if you're the prosecution. For the defense, you just sit, this is the hands in pocket defense. Let this guy blather on about what he does not know. Stay where you are, guys. We're going to get back into that courtroom in Fulton County, the YSL trial and Young Thug continuing when we come right back. So Walter Murphy is the man on the stand. He's DK in this YSL trial out of Fulton County, Georgia. Let's go back in. Remember, he's a cooperating witness via a plea deal. So as you're listening to his testimony, think, is this helping the prosecution? How cooperative is this? Here we go.
Okay. And were you concerned that the fact that that man put his mask on his face could get you killed?
The police officer putting a mask on get me killed? No.
During that July 2015 interview, you told Investigator Gaither, that man putting a mask on at Thug's house, just that will get me killed.
I don't remember saying it.
In July of 2015, were you concerned that being linked to certain people would get you killed in a week?
No.
In that same interview, did you tell Detective Gaither, bruh, I'm just linked to these people, bruh, I'll be killed in a week?
No, I don't remember saying it.
In July of 2015, were you concerned that if people knew you were at the police department talking to police, you could get smoked?
I don't really remember saying it, but I was calling myself a blood, so that sounds about right.
Okay. So you were concerned that you might get smoked?
Yeah, by the bloods.
Okay. And what does it mean to get smoked?
Like shot.
Were you concerned in July of 2015 that if you went to jail, you could get smoked?
Yeah, because I wasn't like a real blood, so I was afraid of going to jail because of that.
So your concern was that because you were false flagging or
Yes.
false claiming being a blood, you could get smoked?
Yes.
Did you tell Detective Gator that that's the reason why you were concerned?
I don't remember what I told her, but I remember going to jail and going to prison being scared because of that.
And at this point in time, how many years had you been false claiming? So this is 2015. How many years had you been false claiming being a blood?
A long time.
The whole time. And between 2012 and 2015, no one ever checked you about being false claiming and being a blood?
No.
Was that the first time you had been to jail in 2015?
No.
So were you concerned before when you went to jail about false claiming?
Yes.
Did you tell Detective Gator, hey, when I was in jail before, they beat me up because I was a blood?
No, I don't remember saying that.
Did you tell her that in 2013, 14, any other time before 2015, you know what, I'm scared to go to jail because I'm a blood?
I don't even think I knew her then.
In this interview, did you say that to her?
I don't remember saying that to her.
In July 2015, were you concerned that simply by Detective Gaither showing you any pictures of the Citgo gas station that you would be dead?
No.
In that interview, you told Detective Gaither that by you just showing me that and then that get back, bro, I'm dead because now they think I talked to you. You see what I'm saying?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Is there anything in here that says, because I'm a blood, I'm scared that they gonna kill me?
Ask that again?
Sure. Is there anything in what I just said that says I'm scared because I'm false claiming being a blood?
No.
This says, just by you showing me that, I'm dead because now they think I talked. You see what I'm saying? Can you get killed or hurt for snitching?
I mean, if you false claiming the blood, I think you will. But if you're not like affiliated with them, then I don't think no harm will come to you.
Then that's by being a blood. Can you get hurt or harmed for snitching?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
I stand objection.
Have you heard of the term snitching?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Oh, I just heard it in music and
In the
people
music.
saying it. It don't mean nothing to me. I ain't.
Have you heard on telling on your people to the police?
I heard it in music. Yeah.
In music. And when you heard it in music, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It depends on where you sing from.
If you tell on your co-defendant or the person you do crimes with, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, if you talk, you got a deal. You the one talk, you got a deal. So it might be a good thing to you, but you see what I'm saying? It depends on where you sing.
Okay. Does the gang look on you favorably when you talk about what other co-defendants or other gang members do to the police?
I don't know what the gang do.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation and foundation.
I stand objections.
Why were you concerned about this particular incident and going to the jail with the blood?
Why was I concerned about what incident?
You were talking to Detective Gaither about the April 12, 2015 incident, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Why were you concerned about the Bloods as it relates to this incident?
because I was going to Fulton County. I'm from Atlanta. A lot of people knew I was claiming blood.
And so your testimony today, the only reason why you were scared is because you were false claiming blood.
Objection, Your Honor, lead.
I stand in objection.
In July 2015, what was your only concern about going to jail, false claiming being a blood?
Yes.
In July 2015, were you concerned that by the Detective Gaither pulling up to Thug's house, that could get you killed?
I ain't never knew she was at the house.
Were you concerned that by Detective Gaither pulling up to Thug's house could get you killed?
I'm confused about what you asked. I ain't never seen her at the house or the little Jeff house as well.
So is that a yes or a no?
No, if I never seen her there, I didn't know.
Okay. In that same July 2015 interview, you told Detective Gaither that she could get you killed just by you pulling up at Thug's house.
By me pulling up or her pulling up?
By her pulling up.
I never seen her at legit.
In July 2015, did you like being around guns?
I kept a gun. I don't like being around a gun. I kept a gun for protection though.
In July 2015, after you were arrested, and during your July interview, did you ask Detective Gaither if there was anything you could do about your situation, which was being arrested?
I don't recall asking her that.
Also, in July 2015, were you concerned about going to Wright Street or the Fulton County Jail?
I already answered that. Yeah, I was false claiming blood. I was concerned about being locked up.
Back in July 2015, were there a lot of IF gang members in the Fulton County Jail?
There was a lot of members of everything.
I'm asking specifically about IF gang.
I've seen a couple.
And were you concerned about the IF gang members being in jail because YSL and IF gang were beefing in July of 2015?
That was the word on Rush Street. That's what I heard on Rush Street. So yeah.
Is that the real reason why you were concerned about going to the Fulton County Jail?
The initial reason I was scared is what you asked?
Was that the real reason why you were scared?
I was scared because I was false claiming. That was the real overall reason.
And it was not because YSL was beefing with you?
That was one of the reasons, but the overall reason was false claiming.
And do you remember that video that we watched a couple days ago with you outside and all the other blood members?
What other blood members?
Do you remember the video we watched the other day? Do you remember the video we watched?
We watched a lot of pictures and a video. I'm confused.
Do you want me to show you the video again?
What case is you talking about?
We're going to show 60WA.
I'm sorry?
60W.
Okay, Walter Murphy confused about a lot of things except going into prison known as a Bloods gang member could get you killed. Let's take a break. We'll come back more out of Fulton County after this. And we are back. Good to have you along here at Law and Crime. Now, if you're just joining us, we are following the RICO trial out of Atlanta. This is the case against rapper Young Thug, also known as Jeffrey Williams. We've been listening to the testimony of YSL co-founder Walter Murphy. Now, the court played this video footage where the witness and some others claimed to be a blood. We're not going to play it for you. There's a lot of curse words in there. You hear a lot of beeping, and my mom would not be happy about that. But let's see what Murphy has to say in response to the exhibit being played.
That's definitely me.
And they said you got the strap on.
Yeah, they said I ain't denying that I had a gun. I had a gun a lot of days of my life.
Okay. Also, in this video, before we even get to that, you hear them talk about SMM.
Yeah, I already answered it.
All right, so that's a blood set.
Yeah.
All right. 2 guns up for Pistol Pete. Is that referencing Pete Rolak who found the SMM?
I don't know who that referencing. I thought it was referencing blood.
Okay. Right here, before we pause, did you put up the 2 guns symbol?
Yeah, I put up a couple symbols, I think.
And you did that in front of all those other guns?
Yeah.
All right. So you weren't afraid of false claiming in this video? Were you,
Hold on, standing objections.
were you afraid of false claiming in this video?
I don't think nobody knew I was false claiming.
Was everybody in this video false claiming?
I don't know what they were doing. I know what I was doing.
In July 2015, were you concerned that even you being at the store and jumping out with the chopper was going to get you killed?
It could have.
Did you tell Detective Gaither that by y'all locking me up, saying that me being at the store, me jumping out with the chopper or whatever that y'all got on video, that was going to get you killed?
Okay, so we got some more Walter Murphy testimony there. Brian Buckmeyer still here, Catherine Lizardo. So Brian, I'm confused. Is he a blood? He's not a blood. Help me with this.
Well, part of the difficulty is it's not like the state bar. You can't just look up and say, okay, is Brian Buckmeyer licensed in the state of New York? Yep, there he is. You can't look up someone and see whether or not they're a blood or a Crip. And what the prosecution is trying to do, which I think is a pretty good way of going about it, is saying you have claimed to be part of this organization. You are associated with people who are closely tied to it. And so we believe that you are. And I think that's a good argument. A lot of times prosecutors will use the signals and the hand motions in which they will flash out at social media. I'm not going to do that on air because I don't need anyone cutting and pasting that and saying, look at Brian Buckmeyer throwing up Crip and blood signs, but you've seen them on TV.
Yeah, let me
do.
Let me ask Catherine, her 15 seconds, all I got, Catherine, but is this guy helping? That's the bottom line. Yes or no for the prosecution?
No, because it's confusing. I am so confused if he's blood or not, especially since he pled guilty to 1 RICO count of participating in a street gang. And so he's saying he's not a blood.
I mean, that's the big picture, and I'm just not sure they're getting it through this witness. I just am not. Okay, so we're going to take a breather here because I'm going to thank and excuse Brian Buckmeyer and Catherine Lizardo. Good to have you guys along as always. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. That's it for me. Jesse Weber up next. Try to do the right thing. I'm Michael Bryant. This is Law and Crime.
And welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us. We are right now in Atlanta, Georgia, where the prosecution's case continues against Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug. So the rapper, along with 5 co-defendants now, are charged with a slew of gang-related crimes connected to the alleged street gang known as YSL. This is short for Young Slime Life. And those crimes range from drug distribution and firearm possession to armed robbery and even murder. Now, on the other side, the defense says that YSL is actually just a record label, and it's called Young Stoner Life, with themes surrounding tough life circumstances. Now, this week, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, took the stand for the prosecution as part of a plea agreement. He's a very interesting witness. Why do I say that? Because he admitted to being the co-founder of YSL, but only the record label, not the gang. Murphy also said that he considered Young Thug a friend of his for over a decade ago, but said that the friendship subsequently ended. However, prosecutors believe that Murphy engaged in gang-related activity alongside Young Thug, and keep in mind, he already pleaded guilty to an actual charge of participation in a criminal street gang. So we're trying to make sense of his testimony. He's back on the stand this afternoon for more direct examination, meaning he's being questioned by the prosecution. So let's go back into the court and let's listen for ourselves.
That's definitely me.
And they said you got the strap on.
Yeah, they said I ain't denying that I had a gun. I had a gun a lot of days of my life.
Okay. Also, in this video, before we even get to that, you hear them talk about SML.
Yeah, I already answered it.
All right, so that's a blood set.
Yeah.
All right. 2 guns up for Pistol Pete. Is that referencing Pete Rolak who found the SML?
I don't know who that referencing. I thought it was referencing blood.
Okay. Right here, before we pause, did you put up the 2 guns symbol?
Yeah, I put up a couple symbols up there.
And you did that in front of all those other guns?
Yeah.
All right. So you weren't afraid of false claiming in this video? Were you afraid of false claiming in this video?
I don't think nobody knew I was false claiming.
Was everybody in this video false claiming?
I don't know what they were doing. I know what I was doing.
In July 2015, were you concerned that even you being at the store and jumping out with the chopper was going to get you killed?
It could have.
Did you tell Detective Gaither that by y'all locking me up, saying that me being at the store, me jumping out with the chopper or whatever that y'all got on video, that was going to get you killed?
I don't recall saying it, but
while you were at the interview in July 2015, did you want to be recorded?
I don't even. I just remember being at the interview. I don't remember whether I wanted to be recorded or not.
Did you ask for her to stop recording the video so you could speak?
I might have did. I think so. I think I did do that.
And did she stop the audio recording when you asked her to stop?
I don't remember if she did or not, but I remember me asking her to do that.
Did you know at that time it was also being video recorded?
I can't remember.
Do you recall in your July 2015 interview talking about someone being a kingpin?
A kingpin?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Do you recall any conversation with you and investigator about how you all transitioned, you and Mr. Williams transitioned from this being about music to all this other stuff, like it was no longer about music? Do you remember a conversation like that in your interview with Detective Gaither?
I don't remember saying me and Mr. Williams or Lil Jeff, nothing about no other stuff.
In July 2015, were you concerned that by you knowing certain people and being around certain people, it could get you shot?
Probably being around certain people, but knowing certain people, you can't help who you know, can it?
During that interview, did you tell investigator Gaither, by me knowing them and me being around them, by being around them, it would get me shot?
I don't recall saying that.
In July 2015, was everybody on Cleveland Avenue YSL?
Everybody on Cleveland? You mean like every single person?
Was everybody on Cleveland Avenue YSL?
No.
Do you recall in that same July 2015 interview telling Detective Gaither, everybody on Cleveland YSL?
That sound like a lie.
It sounds like a lie?
Yeah. Everybody on Cleveland? It's old people on Cleveland.
In July 2015, if you were not on Cleveland Avenue and you were not YSL, would you have to get gone?
What you mean by get gone? Like, what that mean?
I don't know. What did you mean?
I don't know what I meant by then. I was high, stressed out. I was mentally ill.
Did you tell Detective Gaither that you were mentally ill during your July 2015 interview?
No. I went to a mental health facility for 4 years. I was admitted as mental health level 2.
But did you tell her during your interview?
I wasn't admitted at that point. I didn't even know I was mental health at that point.
So that happened after your interview?
Yes, that happened when I took a mental health evaluation.
And was that while you were in custody?
Yes.
In your interview with Detective Gaither, did you tell Detective Gaither that if you were not on Cleveland Avenue and you not YSL, you were getting gone?
I don't recall saying that.
In July 2015, will YSL take out their own? Take out their own.
Take out their own, like take them out, or like, I'm confused.
Would YSL take out their own members? Not to dinner, take them out.
I never knew nobody from YSL to hurt nobody else who was rapping about YSL or a fan of YSL or none of that.
In that same interview with Detective Gaither, did you concede with Detective Gaither that YSL would take out their own members?
No, I don't recall saying that.
As it relates to YSL, before 2015, did you and Thug get to say what happened with YSL?
What do you mean, like the music?
About the group, about the gang, about the music. Did you and Thug get to say what happened about YSL before 2015?
Not that I recall.
Okay. In that same interview, you told Detective Gaither, before 2015, you and Thug got to say what happened, but now it's beyond that. Did you tell Detective? You told Detective Gaither?
I probably was referring to the music though. Because beyond that, I mean, like he signed to a major label now. Like, he's signed to a major label now.
But remember, I just asked you whether or not you and Detective Gaither had a conversation about the transition of it no longer being about music and being about something else.
I don't remember having that conversation though.
Would telling on the driver in this April 12, 2015 be considered two-timing?
I don't even know what that means. Two-timing?
In the same July 2015 interview, you told Detective Gaither that telling on the driver would be two-timing.
I don't even remember saying that. I don't even know what two-timing means.
Have you ever heard the term being a fry in this big old bowl?
No.
No? Okay. In the July 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither, I'm just a fry in this big old bowl?
No, that's funny though. I don't remember saying that.
All right. What is a stain as it relates to being in the gang?
From my recollection, there's like a higher up or something.
A stain is a higher up?
Yeah.
Back in 2015, were people hungry to get a stain for YSL?
I stand question. You can rephrase now.
During your July 2015 interview, did you speak with Detective Gaither about folks being hungry for a stain?
I ain't even know why I said had this thing. That's like blood terminology.
In July 2015, were you concerned that if you snitched, you were going to get killed?
I probably was.
And did you tell Detective Gaither that?
I don't remember telling her that.
Did you tell Detective Gaither that you would get wet if you spoke or snitched?
I don't remember telling her that.
During your 2015 July interview, did you ask for immunity?
I don't recall asking for that. I still don't even know what that word means to this day. I heard it a lot though.
During your July interview, did you ask to go to the bathroom so you can get your thoughts together?
I don't recall asking that. Thought you go to the bathroom and use the bathroom.
In July 2015, were you willing to wear a wire in order not to be charged?
I don't recall saying or never wearing a wire.
During that same July 2015 interview, do you recall asking Detective Gaither, can I deliver the person who was driving and like go free?
I don't recall asking her that.
And after hearing her response, you said, even if I become an informant and wear a wire.
Definitely don't remember saying that. That sounds like a movie.
Were you in this movie?
I never been in a movie.
Taking you back now to that August 2015 interview, was that the next time, after July, was the next time you met anyone at the Atlanta Police Department in August of 2015?
I can't even remember back that far, but I know I had an interview.
Okay. Do you remember both interviews being at the Atlanta Police Department?
I think so, yeah.
And at that second interview, kind of like we discussed yesterday, was Mr. Hudson present with you at that second interview?
I think so, yes.
And that interview, did you and your attorney ask for the detectives at the gang unit to speak with you about what happened?
Objection, Your Honor, to you and your attorney.
Did you want to speak
I
with?
stand objection to form. You can rephrase.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Did you want to go speak with your attorney? Let me speak with the detectives.
I don't recall. I think I remember my lawyer telling me they want to talk to me.
Do you know if your lawyer reached out to the detectives or if your detectives reached out to your lawyer?
I was in Rice Street.
And during this August 2015 interview, was YSL on a plate at Rice Street?
On a plate? I don't know.
During this August 2015 interview, did you tell both Detective Dennis and your attorney that YSL was on a plate at Rice Street?
I don't know what I said in the interview. I remember having an interview though.
Now, during the August 18, 2015 interview, do you recall talking to the detectives about what occurred on April 12, 2015?
I don't recall talking to them about specifically what happened, but I know I had an interview.
You said you do not recall talking
I
to them?
do not recall.
Yesterday, when we went over what you said, do you not recall making any of those statements during the August 2015 interview?
All right, so as we try to see if he is being deliberately evasive with his answers, a couple things here. As I mentioned, he already pled guilty to a racketeering charge, was sentenced to time served with 9 years probation. But this is a guy who has been implicated in attempted murders, armed robbery, aggravated assault. I'm just going through the indictment. One other thing to mention, he talked about Cleveland Avenue. That comes up a lot during the course of this trial. Cleveland Avenue is allegedly a hotspot for violence. In fact, the DA on this case, Fonnie Willis, once described Cleveland Avenue as, quote, somewhere where violence occurs, where they are marking up blood territory. It's horrible. That community deserves to be safe. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see more of his testimony. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back, everybody. So we're in Atlanta, Georgia, where the prosecution's case is continuing in the racketeering trial of Jeffrey Lamar Williams, also known as Young Thug, the rapper, of course, along with now 5 co-defendants charged with a slew of gang-related crimes connected to the alleged street gang known as YSL. It's short for Young Slime Life. Now, on the other hand, the defense says that this is not a gang. This is merely a record label that's called Young Stoner Life, with themes surrounding just tough life circumstances, not advocating or covering up any kind of violence. But we have been listening to what I will tell you I think is fascinating testimony from Walter Murphy, the alleged co-founder of YSL, because it's not so much what he's saying, but what he's not saying. This is a guy that was supposed to be a key prosecution witness, he took a plea deal, and yet he's not really giving the prosecution what they need. As far as I can tell, I don't think he's ever even said that YSL is a gang. But he keeps getting caught in these contradictions. You're saying this on the stand, but you said this earlier, and you could argue he's being deliberately evasive. Like, what did you mean by that question? What are you talking about? So this is my description of it. We're going to jump back in. You make of it what you think.
During the August 2015 interview about what happened on April 12, 2015.
Yeah, I do. I think I remember some of them, some of the statements.
In April 2015, let me ask you this. Do you remember us yesterday talking about the compound and going to the compound in April 2015?
Yes.
Okay. When you, Dora, and Dolly went to the compound, was Jeffrey Williams in the city of Atlanta?
I can't remember where he was at.
During that August 2015 interview, do you recall telling Detective Gaither he was not in town?
I don't remember saying that. He was out of town a lot, though.
Okay. In April 2015, was Thug enemies with Lil Wayne?
Enemies? That we looked up to Lil Wayne.
In your August 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Thug was mad at you for having Dolly at the compound? And when they asked you to clarify why Thug was mad, you said because that's his enemy. And you were referencing Lil Wayne.
I don't remember saying that. I don't know how could they be enemies when he wasn't even on Lil Wayne level with it.
In April 2015, was Thug mad at you because you were supposed to be the safekeeper of his family?
I don't think I was supposed to be, but I definitely safe kept his family, my family. I felt like they was my family too.
Okay. During this interview, did you tell Detective Dennis and Gaither that you're supposed to be the safekeeper of Thug's family?
I don't know if I said I was supposed to be, but
why would you have to be the safekeeper of Thug's family?
I wouldn't have to be. I felt like I wanted to though, because I felt like that was my family too.
Why did you have to be the safekeeper?
I don't even know what safekeeping means, but as far as like if I wanted to protect them or love them, then yeah.
Why did they need to be protected?
They brother famous and a rapper. People target rappers' family all the time.
Do you recall telling the detectives during that interview it was because if gang and them were threatening Mr. Williams and threatening to shoot up his family?
I don't recall saying that, but I think I remember like people telling me that.
In 2015, were YSL members being targeted by individuals from IFGAN?
I don't know, but I remember his family getting threats though.
Were you yourself in a number of fights at the Fulton County Jail with IFGAN members in 2015?
Yes, not just if gang members though. It was
During your interviews in August of 2015 and in February 2016, did you tell the detectives who were interviewing that you were in a fight with anyone else outside of people with IFGAN?
Can you say that again?
In your interviews, both in February 2016 or in August of 2015, did you tell the detectives that you were in fights with any other groups besides IFGAN?
I don't recall what I told him, but I remember being in a lot of fights with a lot of different people.
In April of 2015, at this Lil Wayne concert at the compound, did you go to that concert to disrupt the concert?
I don't recall why I went there. I just know we was clubbing a lot back then.
Did you tell Detective Gaither Dennis in this August 2000 interview, while your lawyer was present, that YSL, all of you all, went to the Lil Wayne concert to disrupt the event?
I don't recall saying that.
In April 2015, at the Lil Wayne concert, was Shannon there with you all?
Objection, Your Honor, ask the answer.
I stand the question.
Did you tell in your interviews with Gaither and Dennis that Pee Wee Roscoe was there?
I don't recall what I told him. It was a lot of us there though.
Did you tell Gaither and Dennis that Fanny was there?
I don't recall what I told him. It was a lot of us there. It's a lot of us at every club we went to.
What about Buck Buck?
I don't recall telling him.
In August of 2015, did you tell Gaither and Dennis that Shannon got to a different car than the one he came in at the time YSL members left the compound? Other YSL members left the compound.
I don't know what I told him, but I left before anybody else left because I ran because I had a gun. So it was impossible for me to see who car anybody got in.
Did you tell them that Shannon?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
Lack of personal knowledge,
What?
as you just stated.
May I briefly respond? Your Honor, I'm impeaching because we want to.
Sure.
Oh, the objection.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm trying to not give speech objection.
Okay, so we're listening to this testimony of Walter Murphy, the alleged co-founder of YSL. Really hard to get a read on what exactly is going on here. You know, I think there was a point earlier on in the testimony when you were wondering whether or not he understood the parameters of this deal he entered into. Maybe he does. Maybe he just doesn't want to come off as a snitch. But clearly, he is not giving prosecutors the information they need to really hone in on Mr. Williams and his co-defendants. We'll take another break. When we come back, let's see where it goes next. Back in Atlanta, Georgia, for the continuation of the racketeering trial of YSL. Really, we're talking about Young Thug. He is accused to be the ringleader, the head of this alleged criminal enterprise. And as we continue this case, where he is defending himself, saying this was merely a music group, he engaged in no criminal wrongdoing, we are listening to the continued testimony of Walter Murphy, the alleged co-founder of YSL. But he doesn't say it was a gang. He's not providing a ton of helpful information for the prosecution, as far as that I can see, being caught up in a lot of inconsistent statements that he made between what he's saying on the stand now and what he said earlier. I'll give you an example. Earlier on, he was talking about Cleveland Avenue, which is believed to be a hotbed of violence. And they said, did you say that everyone on Cleveland Avenue was YSL? And he goes, I didn't really say that. And then they said, well, didn't you tell a detective that you thought everybody on Cleveland was YSL? And then on the stand, he goes, that seems like a lot. So I wonder if he's playing a little bit with the prosecution. It's fascinating to see. We're going to go back. Let's listen to it for ourselves.
Mr. Murphy, is today your testimony that you were running and you didn't see anything after you ran? That's your testimony today?
I stepped 1 foot out that car with a gun. The police seen me, said freeze, pull his gun on me. I took off running.
Is that your testimony today?
Yes.
Do you recall in August of 2015 telling the detectives, one, that you, Dora, and Dolly came in a 2-door Ford Explorer? Do you remember telling them?
I don't remember telling them that.
And that when you were leaving the club, that you, Dolly, and Dora got into a vehicle, a different vehicle with Big Drake?
No, I don't remember saying that.
And then do you also recall telling Detective Gaither in that August, and Dennis, in front of your lawyer, in that August 2015 interview, that Shannon, Book, and Book was the driver, Shannon, Buck, and Kel got into the 2-door Ford Explorer?
That was impossible for me to see if I ran away from the compound.
So your testimony, you did not tell Detective Gaither that back in August of 2015?
I ain't saying I didn't tell him that, but that probably was a lie.
Okay. And that's what you're saying today in April 2024, that that's a lie? All right. Did you then tell Gaither and Dennis that you, Dolly, and Dora left and went to the Blue Ivory?
I couldn't have left with them. Dennis told me he talked to them on the scene. I ran away from him. How could I leave with him?
So your testimony that you did not tell Detective Dennis and Gaither that you, Dora, and Dolly, after leaving the compound, went to Blue Ivory?
I don't remember where I went after that, but I know I ain't leave because I ran.
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that Pee Wee Roscoe was driving a white Camaro that night?
I don't remember what nobody was driving.
In that August 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that Pee Wee was driving a white Camaro that night?
I don't remember what nobody was driving. I ain't saying I ain't tell them that, but I don't remember what nobody was driving.
Was T4 and Troop with Pee Wee on the night of April 2015 at the compound?
It was a lot of us. I can't recall who all was out there.
In April 2015, did Shannon, Book, Buck, and Kel come to Blue Ivory after leaving Club Compound?
I can't recall.
Do you recall telling Investigator Dennis and Gaither in front of your lawyer in April 2015 that Shannon, Buck, and Kel arrived at Blue Ivory after they left Club Compound?
I don't recall. I know I had an interview though.
Okay. Did you tell Investigator Dennis that it took them about 45 minutes to an hour for them to arrive at Blue Ivory after leaving the compound?
No, I don't remember saying that.
In August of 2015, did you tell Detective Gaither that Pee Wee Roscoe arrived at Blue Ivory with T4 and Troop?
I don't recall saying that either.
Okay. And that Pee Wee Roscoe and the people in his car and Shannon and the people in their car arrived around the same time?
I don't recall saying that. I don't even remember where I went out the compound.
And then, do you recall telling that after leaving Blue Ivory that you all went back to the studio?
I don't recall saying that, but we went to the studio a whole lot.
Okay. Specifically on the night of the Lil Wayne concert in April 2015 is what I'm...
I don't remember where I went that night.
Now, in February of 2016, during your proffer, were you shown, or do you remember being shown pictures during that proffer?
I got showed a lot of pictures.
Do you remember signing or initialing any particular pictures that you were shown?
I might have did.
Okay. Back in 2015, would members of YSL pass guns around to each other?
I don't know what. Remember that? I know I've been passed a gun before though.
Okay. In the February 2016 proffer, do you recall Detective Gaither asking you about what kind of gun Fatty had, and your response was you didn't remember because so many guns get passed around amongst y'all?
I don't recall saying that. I've been passed a gun before though.
Take you back to the night that Dexter Montgomery was shot in his head. When you were at the house with Nard and you were given the chopper, when you got into the car, do you remember where you carried, like where you placed the chopper? Like, did you place it to the side of you? Did you place it in the back seat? Do you recall?
I don't remember that specific night, but if I had a chopper, then it probably was in my lap or in between my lap or something like that.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you carried the rifle between your legs during this 2016 proffer?
I don't recall telling her that, but that sounds about right.
Now, in that 2016 interview, let me ask you this right there. In 2015, did you all keep a lot of guns inside of the home because you were concerned about the beef between YSL and F Gang?
What home?
I stand corrected as a form.
Back in April of 2015, were you concerned, back in April 2015, did you keep a gun inside of that home that you were at before going to shoot Dexter Montgomery because you all were beefing with If Gang?
That wasn't my home.
Okay. In your February 2016 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, and from the prosecutor and your attorney that you all kept assault rifles at the spot because you all were beefing with If Gang?
Objection, improper question. It's not the same question that was just asked.
I stand as the form. You can rephrase it.
Okay. At the spot that you were at in April of 2015, before going to shoot Mr. Montgomery, do you remember that house that you were at?
I don't remember like where it was at. I remember it was at the house though.
Okay. In that house, was that Hot Rod's house?
I don't recall who house it was. It was the house though.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither in both August of 2015 and in February 2016 that that was Hot Rod's trap house?
I don't recall telling him that. I might have did though.
Okay. At that house, did you all keep assault rifles there because you were beefing with If Gang?
So I want to be clear. The prosecutors are not getting this out of nowhere, right? They're getting this out of a basis of what he allegedly said in the past or what evidence they have. And the more he looks dumbfounded and can't answer these questions, A, it makes me wonder if his deal is going to be kept up. But number two, it makes me wonder what the jury might be thinking about his credibility. And it'll be very, very, very interesting to see what questions he'll face under cross-examination by the various defense attorneys, since there are multiple defendants. All right, let's take another break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back, everybody. We're going once again to Atlanta, Georgia for the continuation of the young thug Jeffrey Lamar Williams trial, this racketeering trial. Was he at the head of this criminal enterprise, this street gang terrorizing Atlanta for years? So the prosecution believes, defense saying, no, it's nothing nefarious like that at all. This was just a music group. They were talking about their lives, hard times. That's it. It's being made of it more by the prosecution. Well, we have such an important witness on the stand. No wonder he's been on for quite some time. He's the alleged co-founder of YSL, Walter Murphy, or DK, being grilled by the prosecution. Yes, you heard me say by the prosecution, because he doesn't seem to be giving them the kind of information that they were hoping to get, and they're trying to elicit that information out of him a little bit. Remember, if we are dealing with these kinds of players and this kinds of alleged street gang and criminal participation, not so easy going into court and testifying against your friends or former gang members. But that's the allegation. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Is Bentley, Nard, and Fatty all YSL?
You asked me about the gang?
Yes.
I feel like Bentley, I don't feel like he was part of the gang, but.
Did you tell Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, in front of your attorney and the prosecutor, that Bentley, Nard, and Fatty were all YSL?
I don't recall saying it, but I probably was referring to the music.
We talked earlier about you false claiming. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis during the same 2016 proffer that YSL came first and that y'all became SMM after being YSL?
YSL came first. I think SMM was popular already before we came up with YSL.
When did YSL become SMM?
YSL is YSL. SMM is SMM.
Okay. Are some members of YSL SMM?
Some members of YSL call themselves SMM. I don't know if they was a real blood member or not, but.
What's a green dot?
A green dot?
Yes.
I'm confused. Like, what you mean, like a green dot, or like a green bean? A green dot?
Did you tell Gaither and Dennis that as relates to getting any type of payment from YSL, you had to be down the road to get a green dot?
And I don't recall saying it. Like, you would have to be in prison to get paid. That's crazy.
How did the beef between YSL and FA begin?
No, I can't recall. I don't know.
Do you recall telling Gaither and Dennis during your February 2016 interview that the beef between YSL and If Gang began with a beef between Rich Homie, Quan, and Young Thug?
I don't know. I would have said anything to get out of there.
Did you also say during that same interview that this beef was on the internet?
I don't know. There was a lot of stuff on the internet, but
Did you also say that Rich Homie Quan was If Gang?
I ain't even met Rich Homie Quan.
Did you also say in that same interview that Rich Homie Quan was under Big Nut?
I ain't never met Rich Homie Quan. I can't say.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that?
No.
Do you recall saying that Big Nut was sending shots at Thug?
No, I don't recall saying that.
Back in 2015, did people hate or dislike YSL?
Objection not made.
I stand the objection.
Back in April of 2015, was there a lot of hate for YSL and for YSL?
Oh, the objection.
That's like the other question I had. This depends on where you sitting at. Some people didn't like us, said we were skinny jeans, we were gay. Some people love the music. It depends on where you sitting from.
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in 2016 that no one likes YSL now since everything's going on? YSL is his own thing. YSL is blood. You could be blood, you could be Crip, you could be nothing.
I don't remember saying that, but that sounds kind of true. Like, I said you could be Crip, blood, Muslim, be a fan.
So a lot of I don't remember, I said anything, I don't know what I was saying, I don't know what he was doing, I don't know what he was saying. And you hear the prosecutor really fighting him back and confronting him with these past statements that he made, but seems to try to give an explanation for everything that he's saying now. All right, so when we come back, we're actually going to break down some of Walter Murphy's testimony that you may have missed. So stay with us here on Law&Crime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this.
You were convicted of participation in criminal street gang activity. What gang were you a part of?
Blood.
Was it YSL?
No, that's a good question. They didn't ask me that when I pleaded guilty.
A man considered to be one of the 5 founding members of an alleged criminal street gang was called to testify this week in the Young Thug racketeering trial. Walter Murphy, also known as DK, took the stand as part of a plea agreement. He was accused, along with Thug, of founding the alleged gang known as Young Slime Life, or YSL. And while prosecutors allege that YSL is indeed a gang, the defense says it's nothing more than Young Thug's record label. As part of Murphy's testimony, the state questioned him on the founding of YSL and his relationship to Young Thug, whose legal name is Jeffrey Williams. Let's take a look back now at some of the top moments that came out of his testimony, starting with his relationship to Young Thug.
Permission for Mr. Murphy to stand, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Murphy, if you take this stick,
What if I
please.
don't want to do that?
Because I'm asking you to.
Like, what if I don't want to?
I'm asking you to take the stick, please. Thank you so much. Can you point yourself out in the picture?
Yeah, I'm at the bottom left.
All right. And you said that Mr. Williams is in that
Right
picture?
beside me to the right.
Okay, and where is Mr. McMillan?
To the left on the guy on the far right.
Can you use your stick that you don't want to use and point him out?
To the left of the guy on the far right with the glasses on and the red shirt.
Mr. McMillan.
Can you stand up, sir, please, and just point on the screen? Thank you.
I appreciate it. You got to see. Thank you. What is your current relationship with Mr. Williams?
I don't have a relationship with him.
When did that relationship cease?
It never ceased. It just, I went to prison.
And while you were in prison, you did not maintain your relationship or friendship?
When you're in prison, you don't retain no relationships. All that in.
And since you got out of prison, did you not rekindle your friendship when you got out of prison?
I had more important relationships to worry about than friends. Like my kids.
Now, Murphy testified that prior to his time in prison, he had a close relationship with the rapper that stemmed back to their childhood days. He even referred to the rapper as Lil Jeff during his testimony. Well, prosecutors questioned him further on how he would refer to Jeffrey Williams exactly. Let's take a listen.
Did you ever call him in 2012 and 2013, reference him by the name of Thug?
I might have said it, but I ain't. That was we on a daily basis.
Okay. When you were interviewed back in 2015 and 2016, during the course of those interviews, what did you refer to him as if they asked you questions during those interviews?
I can't even, I know I had an interview in 2015, but as far as what was said and all that, I don't really remember that. I've been through a lot, and I know when I did those interviews, at that point, I would have lied, cut my arm off to get back to my son.
Okay. Do you recall never really calling him Little Jeff at all in those interviews, and you only called him Thug throughout those entire interviews?
I don't recall. What I call? Nobody in the interview. I know I had the interview, though.
Remember, prosecutors have alleged that the rapper's stage name, Thug, is a reference to his purported criminal activity, while his defense says that the name just means truly humble under God. Prosecutors spent time breaking down the details of Murphy's plea agreement, and his answers are mostly shrouded in confusion. Let's listen.
Did you sign an initial on a plea agreement?
I initialed it, yeah.
And did you understand what you initialed?
That's a good question.
Oh, did you?
I did, but I didn't, though.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's kind of confusing because I understood it, but I didn't understand this part of it.
When you say this part of it, what do you mean?
Testifying part, I didn't understand that part.
Okay.
It would appear that the testifying part of his plea agreement was not the only thing that Murphy was confused on. Let's listen to what he had to say when he was asked about founding YSL.
Did you ever create a group called YSL?
A group, yeah.
Okay. Was it something else besides a group?
Not to my means of knowledge.
And what does number 1 say?
YSL, otherwise known as Young Slime Life, began as a neighborhood group but evolved into a gang.
Okay. And did you initial number 1?
Yeah.
Murphy admits to founding YSL, but only as a neighborhood music group. He says as prosecutors continue to press him on YSL's alleged gang affiliations, Murphy only appears to get even more defensive. Watch.
And number 9, what does number 9 say?
Some other language that YSL members would use is something.
Okay. And then what does it say under A?
Black.
And then what does it say?
But I heard that way before YSL even.
Sure. Answer my question. Finish reading. What does A say?
It say black.
And what else does it say?
Oh, which means blood love all the time.
Okay. And so when I just asked you a few moments ago if you knew what black meant, Why did you tell me you did not know what it is?
Now I remember. I've got a whole life. You think I'm sitting at home or at work thinking about that? I'm not thinking about that, bro. I got 4 kids. I'm not thinking about that.
Now, while Murphy pleaded guilty to participating in a gang activity, YSL was not the only alleged gang he was questioned on having ties to. No, prosecutors dove into Murphy's years before Young Slime life and focused on another group named Red Cartel that Murphy claimed was also a music group. Let's watch.
Now, with Red Cartel, was Red Cartel ever associated with any gangs?
I don't remember. We were just wearing red.
You said you don't remember?
I don't recall.
Okay. But you were just wearing red.
Yeah.
Do you know why you all were just wearing red?
It was just a color.
Why red versus any other color?
I don't know.
Did you ever ask why we wear red and not purple, blue, green, orange?
I like the red.
You like the red?
Yeah. I think it's a nice color.
And on the other picture, can you read what it says on the other picture at the top?
They're like graffiti letters or something. I can't understand it.
So you can't read what it says at the top?
Okay, I see the Red Cartel.
And
I don't know what that is on the end though. It's kind of weird.
on which end?
The right top.
You mean the wording after cartel?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what it says underneath Red Cartel?
Creek City Records.
Okay. And then underneath that, do you see what it says?
I don't know what that say at the bottom, but the other part say gang.
Okay. But is that the Red Cartel that you were referencing, the music group that you were a part of?
I don't know.
Okay.
How would I know?
And lastly, let's hear what he had to say on an alleged connection to the Bloods gang.
How did you become a Blood? How did you become a Blood?
I didn't. I just started saying I was blood. If that's what you mean.
Was there ever a time that you and other people were together and called yourselves Bloods?
I'm trying to figure out what you saying. That I don't understand that. I've hung around people who call themselves Christian, Muslim. I hung around all kind of people.
As the state continues to prove their case against rapper Young Thug and co-defendants, we will continue to bring you the latest out of the longest trial in Georgia state history. Stick with us here at Law and Crime as we continue to bring the latest gavel-to-gavel coverage. I'm Jesse Weber. We'll be right back.